All right, guys, this is take 3 of the quote of the day. We tried me being in front of a class. We tried me sitting here in the office. So this is our third attempt. And the goal here is to combine sort of my active presentation style and personality a little bit that wasn't coming across when I was seated with the higher quality sound and less rushed delivery that we have here. So our quote today is from Arnold Glasow. And the quote is, "Consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll understand what little chance you have trying to change others." So, I thought about a bunch of ways to take this quote and a bunch of directions I wanted to go in. And I thought about a lot of the folks who train here, they've got kids, and that can be its own challenge, helping them grow and develop and working with their capacity for change. But as usual, I decided to relate something about myself. A lot of you guys who train here know that I survived a suicide attempt about 10 years ago. And that was probably the biggest formative moment of my life, right? That probably takes the cake. And when I attempted suicide, I was put in a mental hospital for about 9 days. And it was a tough part of my life, and it was even harder on my parents. And I recognized that then, and I recognize it now. And I think the hardest thing for them, my dad and I especially have talked at length about it, is they really wanted to help me. They really wanted to find a way to help me change so I could be happy and engage in my life in a better way. And it wasn't their fault, man. One, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I deal with that every day, and happily live with that. And so there was that obstacle. But the other problem was that I didn't want to change. I wasn't ready to change. I wasn't prepared to change. And so there was nothing they could do to change me. And one of the things that was the most helpful for me, a friend of mine who worked near the hospital and was actually my roommate at the time, came by every day. And he didn't ask me how I was doing. He didn't ask me how things were going in the hospital. He just sat with me, and we'd play chess or we'd play cards, and we would just talk about life and what was going on, how things were going. And that was a great sense of normalcy to have that friend in a time of real turmoil for me. And one day he came in, and I said to him, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to make the changes I need to make sure that not only do I get out of here, but I never come back here again. And after that, I started to change. I started to seek out avenues for change. I started to take on a different role in my life in a big way, a more active role in taking care of myself. And it forced me to come to terms with a lot of things about myself and about the way I viewed the world. And I started seeking out teachers and seeking out instruction. And I joined this gym that now I work at, Underdog Mixed Martial Arts, as a result of that time period and trying to be more proactive in taking care of myself. And so this I'm talking a lot about myself. This can be very crushing because certainly we want to help others change. Whether we realize it or not, we are all influencers, teachers, coaches, parents, right? We're all influencing people in some way. And sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing it. So you might be thinking, man, you're telling me I can't change people? I can't help them change? Well, you can, right? But they have to be ready for it. So the little life hack you can do is you can live your life in a way that holds a standard. You can live a life of integrity, live a life of virtue, right? Live in a way that you set an example. That's one reason I train so hard. I don't need to train martial arts as hard as I do. I don't need to train strength and conditioning as hard as I do. A lot of other coaches ask me why I train so hard. And the truth is, I want to put myself up as an example to say, hey, I can do it. I'm doing it, right? And then when you want to do it, you come and find me, right? I create myself as a resource for others. And when they're ready for change, they'll come find me, and they can have some faith that I know what I'm doing, that I can help them create that change because they've seen that change in me from the example that I show to them, right? And that's how we get around that little problem, right? We can help change others if it's their idea, if they're willing to come meet us halfway and and invest the time and the energy to become a better them, right? So it's a little thought for the day, and hopefully that gets some deeper thoughts going for you, and you can develop that for yourself.